What if it was a mirror? One that doesn't show you your face, but shows you your worst face. The version of you that's scared, bitter, hungering for someone to blame. And then that mirror goes, "Here, take this megaphone." And it hands you to an audience of millions. Carl Jung predicted this. Not social media, specifically. The man died in 1961, but he mapped out the psychological mechanism behind exactly what's happening right now. He called it the shadow. And here's the thing. The algorithm didn't create it. It just learned how to farm it. Let me show you what I mean. Jung had this idea, and it sounds simple until you sit with it, that every single one of us has two versions of ourselves walking around. There's the one you show people, the persona, the one that's professional, patient, put together, the one that posts a nice photo and says blessed in the caption. And then there's the other one. Jung called it the shadow. And no, it's not some horror movie thing. It's just everything you've been told not to be. The jealousy you pretend you don't feel. The rage you swallow at dinner. The petty part of you that low-key wants to see your ex's new relationship fail. That part. We all have it. Every single person. Here's what Jung kept stressing. You cannot get rid of it by ignoring it. That's not how it works. The more you bury it, the more pressure it builds. It's like putting a lid on a boiling pot and walking away. At some point, something gives. He actually described it as a psychological basement. You can lock the door. You can stack boxes in front of it. But something is always down there, pacing. Now, think about what happens when you hand 3.5 billion people a platform that was specifically built, whether anyone intended this or not, to crack that door open. Okay, so here's where it gets a little uncomfortable. Social media platforms, and I mean this genuinely, do not care what you think. They don't care if you're happy or destroyed by what you saw. They don't care if something's true. None of that is the point. The only number that matters, the only metric these things were optimized around is how long did you stay? And the thing is, and this is what nobody told us when we all signed up, the emotions that keep you scrolling the longest aren't good ones. It's not joy. It's not curiosity. It's not even love. It's outrage, fear, contempt. There was research out of NYU, and this one stuck with me, that found every time a tweet included a moral emotional word, something like corrupt, threat, disgrace, destroy, it got retweeted about 20% more. Not because people are bad, because we're wired to snap to attention. When something feels dangerous, that reflex kept our ancestors alive on the savannah. A weird rustle in the grass deserved more attention than a pretty sunset. Your brain still runs that same program. It just can't tell the difference between a lion and a tweet. So the algorithm, not through any evil mastermind, just through pure trial and error, figured out that shadow content performs. Grievance performs. The slow, grinding dehumanization of people who aren't like you, that really performs. It found the crack in human psychology, and it poured itself in. Jung said the shadow, when it's integrated, when you actually face it, becomes fuel for creativity and depth. When it's uncontained, he called it the source of mass psychosis. No one at these companies is containing anything. The whole model depends on not containing it. Here's the part that really got to me. Why I fell down this rabbit hole. Jung wasn't just writing about individuals. Toward the end of his life, he got really preoccupied with what he called the collective unconscious. This idea that there are psychological patterns, fears, drives that run underneath all of us, shared across cultures and centuries. Archetypes, myths, the deep stuff, and he wrote about what happens when the collective shadow, the buried darkness of an entire society, gets unleashed. He watched it happen in person in Germany in the 1930s, a country humiliated, economically gutted, desperate for meaning. And then a figure shows up and hands him a target, someone to project all that darkness onto. Jung wrote, and I'm paraphrasing here, that Germany had been possessed by its own unconscious. The shadow didn't go away. It just found a host. No, seriously. Sit with that for a second. Now look at your feed. Not in a judging way. Just honestly look at it. How many posts this morning were fundamentally about an enemy? How much of what you engage with was framed as us versus them? And when you felt that little spike, that satisfying surge, when someone you disagree with got embarrassed, what was that? Think about it. The algorithm has done something. No dictator, no propagandist, no demagogue in history ever managed to do. It runs the whole process automatically, at scale, in every language, across every political divide, simultaneously. There's no one pulling levers. There's just a feedback loop. Your own shadow, reflected back, amplified, validated, turned into revenue, and served to 400 million people, having roughly the same experience. At the same time, Jung had a word for what happens when something gets pushed to its absolute extreme. In antiadromia, the flip, a culture so obsessed with progress and reason and being civil that it's been suppressing its darker instincts for decades. Doesn't heal them, it stores them. And then one day you look up and the basement door is just wide open. All right, this next part, people really don't like this one. Jung wrote about something called projection. The idea that we take the things inside ourselves we can't deal with, the things we're ashamed of, the impulses we'd never admit to, and we put them on other people. We see them out there instead of in here. The person who absolutely loses it over other people's dishonesty and bends the truth all the time. The one calling everyone else a narcissist in every conversation. The person who accuses the other side of hating the country while doing things that don't exactly scream love of country. And listen, I'm not pointing at anyone specific. This is not a political thing. Projection is not a flaw that bad people have. It's a feature of being human. We all do it. The question is just whether you're aware you're doing it. Here's the thing though. Social media doesn't just allow projection. It rewards it. The harder you project, the more certain you are that all of society's problems live inside that other group over there. The more engagement you get, the more the algorithm lights up for you, the more your content travels, and then the people whose shadows match yours find you. And suddenly one person's unprocessed rage becomes a community, becomes a movement, becomes a thing with a name. Jung said the only real way through the shadow is integration, which sounds vague, but basically means you look at the dark stuff in yourself. You own it. You don't act on it, but you don't pretend it isn't there either. That process, actually doing that, makes you less controllable, less reactive. The algorithm cannot function if you're doing that work. It needs you reactive. It needs the gap between impulse and action to be zero. And honestly, expanding that gap just a little might be the most subversive thing you can do right now. So what do you actually do with all this? And look, I know the obvious answer is delete the apps. Maybe that's part of it. I'm not going to tell you it isn't. But here's what I kept coming back to. When I was going through Jung's writing, the shadow doesn't live in your phone. It lives in you. Taking the mirror away doesn't change what you'd see in it. The actual work, the stuff Jung kept coming back to, is genuinely uncomfortable. It means when you feel that hit of contempt, that particular flavor of how can people be like this, you pause and ask yourself where you've been like that. It means finding the actual person behind the political identity you can't stand. Not to agree with them, just to see them as a person. Because if you can't do that, you're not seeing them at all. You're looking at your own shadow, wearing a different outfit, on a bigger scale. And I know how naive this might sound. This is genuinely the only thing that's ever worked. Not the right people winning elections. Not better community guidelines on some platform. Not a new app that promises to fix your relationship with technology. People, one at a time, choosing to be slightly more awake than the system is trying to make them. Jung called this individuation, becoming a whole, integrated person, instead of just a bundle of unconscious reactions. With a profile picture, it's slow, it doesn't trend, nobody's going to validate you for it. What's the thing? So, the mirror. The algorithm didn't invent the shadow. Jung was writing about it, decades before anyone had a smartphone. Before the internet existed. Human darkness is not a tech problem. It's an old problem. It's the oldest problem. What tech did, what these platforms specifically did, was build the most efficient shadow amplification machine in history, and then put it in everyone's pocket for free. And the question Jung spent his whole career asking is the same one I keep coming back to. And honestly, it's the one I think we're all quietly circling right now. Will you actually look at what's in that mirror? Or is it just easier to keep pointing it at someone else? Because shadows don't go away when you look away from them. They get bigger. They find cracks. They spread. At some point, they don't even feel like yours anymore. They feel like the culture, like just the way things are. But the moment you actually turn toward one, name it, own it, sit with how uncomfortable it is, something shifts. It doesn't have the same grip. That's not a comfortable process. It's not shareable. The algorithm will never, ever show it to you unprompted. But it might be the most important thing you do.